Well, hello everyone. Welcome to New It Too. This is Jan and Kaylin coming to you from BSON in Oklahoma City.
Hi.
Hi. We are so excited to bring another new topic to you about something that you may or may not have heard about, and that would be the Baby Lock magnetic hoops for your embroidery. They are a wonderful addition to your embroidery because there are just a lot of things that are simply very difficult to hoop. And having a hoop that makes it easier is definitely right at the top of the charts for things I like to work with.
Mm-hmm.
The best example I can give is if you're doing something that is really thick, like a terry cloth towel.
Yeah.
Some of them are really plush, blankets that are plush,
Mm-hmm.
coats that are heavy, like maybe a Carhartt jacket is really heavy.
Yeah.
Quilt sandwiches can be really thick. And sometimes trying to be able to cram that in there's just not that much space around the hoop.
Yeah, to interlock the rings.
Right. And you have to loosen it so much that, it barely works and you're cramming it in and you're stressing the hoop.
It pops out of the hoop.
It pops out.
Mm-hmm.
Been there, done that one. And it's nice to have an option. And the magnetic hoops are probably one of the latest and greatest things that you can add to your collection of tools. So let me show you what some of the options are. The ones I want to show you right here, these are magnetic hoops that were designed for the free arm machine. As you can see, this part back here is the jig that hooks onto the machine,
Mm-hmm.
and then the hoop hooks into the jig. I'm going to see if I can get this off of here.
Backwards and upside down.
Backwards. I don't know if I can do it backwards and upside down with only two hands. Hang on. I don't think I can. Oh, there we go. I did it. It's easy to do when this is hooked onto the machine.
Yes.
But this is the part that goes on the machine. And you would take your A arm off of the machine, and then this part goes on. The little hook right there, that's how you know it's in the center. Hooks on, the screws go in, hooks onto it.
Okay.
And then this part of the hoop right here,
Uh-huh.
that is what slides in so that when you hook it on the machine, it just snaps on.
Okay.
That's how it hooks on. But then the arm of the base of the machine, I should say, is down here. So all of this area becomes free. And then, of course, the free arm is under here,
right,
where the sewing is going on. Really makes it easy to have your different projects in there. And then you ask yourself, well, how do you get the product
Yeah, how do you
on
load
there?
the hoop?
Because now we know how we're hooking it onto the machine.
Yeah.
If you'll see here, there's the little clamps. And if you put your thumb on here and your fingers under here,
Mm-hmm.
you squeeze it and it releases that magnet.
Okay.
So all of those would pop off like that.
They sound like strong magnets.
And then it has this little clam closure, clamshell closure. And then I'm going to take, this is just kind of a pretend quilt sandwich.
I think my favorite thing to use magnetic hoops for is going to be quilt sandwiches.
Definitely. It is. And so I'm going to put that on there, and then I would lower that back down. And if I'm doing a quilt sandwich, I'm probably not putting stabilizer under there.
Yeah.
If it's before.
Right.
Then you get to pick out the stabilizer. And you really, quite honestly, don't need it underneath there.
A quilt sandwich has enough stability to it.
And then so I've got that closed, but that's not holding the fabric. That's just laying on there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the magnet is now going to go right there. And it just clings right to it because that's what magnets do, right? I hid them from myself.
You did.
And it goes like that. And it goes like that. And then you can see that that's in there, but just to show you how strong that is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy strong, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not sliding out of there.
Yeah, love it.
It's strong. So you don't have to worry about what you're working on going anywhere. It's nice and smooth and ready to be stitched on. And you don't even have to take the hoop off of this jig. It can be on the machine. You can
take the magnets
off,
and
slide it in and magnetize it back down.
Yeah.
So that is a wonderful tool to have. I will note that there is some little precautionary symbols on here that if you have a pacemaker,
don't use these.
Probably should not use these.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know 100%. I'm not a doctor, but there's a caution on there. I would say, don't go there.
Yeah.
But
when we say they're strong magnets,
they are strong magnets. Yes. And it will pinch your fingers if you get them in the way, but I just wanted to point that out
Yeah.
because it does have the No Pacemaker
Yeah.
logo on there. So this one is the 5x7
Okay.
hoop for a free arm, and
then it
this one
looks
will
like-
fit on the Array and the
Venture.
Venture. Yes, I was like, what's the other name for me? Does it fit on the Capella?
I think so.
I think it does. Yes, because it'll do a 5x7 hoop.
Yeah.
Yep. And then over here is a 4x4 because it just has a little bit smaller area, but really a great option to use those on your free arm machine. So we have that one. Now I'm going to take this off because I got to use my piece of
We only
fabric.
brought one quilt sandwich over here.
My planning didn't work so great for that one. Once you would take those off, then you could just lift that up and slide out what you worked on, right?
And hear this, you're not going to get hoop burn.
Right, because there's nothing stressing the fabric. It's simply
It's just
laying
pinned
inside
in place.
there,
Yeah.
and then just
Not pinned like with straight pins.
Right,
Pinned
but,
with
yeah, these
magnetism.
wrinkles are because we folded the fabric, not because of the
Oh, yeah.
not because of the magnet. But that's what those two are. Wonderful hoops, wonderful hoops. Okay, now let's move on a little bit. I'm going to move these out of the way because we already talked about those.
Okay.
And let's talk about this one. This one is a magnetic frame that is a 5x7 for a flatbed machine. So I'm going to push that out of the way for a second. You'll notice that they have the little pieces of cardboard on there, or you could use bubble wrap or something. But when you store this, you want there to be something between the magnets. It was intended to have a little buffer. Okay, so don't throw those away, or get yourself a piece of bubble wrap so that you can store it. Again, you'll notice it has the little icon on there about the precautions, no pacemaker. And do you see how it's kind of beveled on the edges?
I do.
The beveled edge goes to the inside, but if you can't remember which way it goes, another way you can look at it is all these triangles are pointing inward. It's going the right direction. So these just lift off, and I'm going to move my little cushion cardboard out of the way. And these are the lower profile magnets on this particular one. Some of the magnetic frames have like the big chunkier ones, and there's a tool to help pry it up.
Yeah.
But this one has the lower profile ones. So we have that all out of the way, and we're going to put our fabric back in here.
But say don't hide your magnets from yourself again.
I know, I already did that once. So I'm going to put that on there, and then I can take this and I'm just going to slide it across until it clamps itself on there. Slide that across. That way I make sure that I have all my wrinkles out. And again, right there, right there. And it will go, I mean, you can see if I do that, it jumps to where it needs to go. And let me show you the back. Again, nice and smooth. If I needed to pull that a little more taut, I could come back through and smooth that out. But it is ready to go because now this one is going to clamp onto.
Yeah, this one is going to be for like the Aurora.
No, it's for the Bloom because it's a 5x7.
It's a 4x7 multi-positional hoop.
I knew that. It's a 4x7. And I'm glad you pointed that out now that I think about it, because guess what?
Oh, it's not multi-position, but it is 4x7.
It is 4x7. And here's the thing, because I had a customer come in the other day and they were questioning me about the Aurora because it had the 4x7 repositionable hoop, but it can only read a 4x4 design.
Yes.
That means that if it's doing 4x4, it can do a 4x4 here, it could do a 4x4 here, or it could do a 4x4 here, but it cannot read a 4x7 design.
And actually, we can just look at our box here because we both were only partly right. So it's a 4x7 hoop that is good for the Bloom, the Accord. BLR was the Allure.
Right, so it does not fit the Aurora.
So it does not fit the Aurora. But it's also not a full 5x7, and part of that is going to be because the way the magnetic hoops are made,
and
they cannot take advantage of the full space because
correct.
this is so
and
wide.
that is true across the board on all the
machines.
magnetic hoops,
Yeah.
because this is broader than what a typical hoop is.
Right, and so
it has to allow
it
for
takes
that
away
space,
some of that
which
space.
means the space that gets eaten up is the interior space,
Yeah.
because the hoop is wider.
Right.
Okay, so yes, so we misspoke just a little bit.
That's okay.
It is for the 5x7 machine that has a
Yes.
clamp on
Yes.
side
But many of the magnetic hoop sizes are going to have this style of magnet.
that are the slide on for the
Yes.
bigger machines.
Whether they're the low profile magnets or the chunkier magnets, you would install them the
install
same
it the
way.
same way, but
Mhm.
this particular one is for the snap-on machine. The other one would have the thing that slides in just like all the other hoops do.
Yes.
And then this one is the 4x4. Let me undo this part real quick. And you want to show that box real quick?
Yeah, so this one, actually, if you look at it, this one is the 4x4 magnet hoop, and she'll show you how we hoop that in just a second. But if you look here at my item codes, this is going to be the Aurora and the previous model version of the Aurora, which was the Verve. So this one is going to be that same clamp down attachment style that is going to fit, though, that 4x4 space. And it looks like they were able to make that low profile enough and narrow enough that they could take advantage of the entire 4-inch stitchable area on something like the Aurora.
And then I just want to show you, I am using my little cardboard pieces because when I'm done using that, I don't want magnet on magnet.
Yeah.
I want to use something to cushion between it. So let me move that one out of the way. And then this one, rather than it being the 4 different sides, and this one, as she said, fits the smaller machine, has a little place here that I can help pull it up. And again, there's my little buffers. And then if I'm putting this on here, and it just holds it.
Yeah, beautiful.
But this one again is a snap-on.
Yes.
Okay, but there are all sorts of different sizes of magnetic hoops so that you can get the one that one is designed for your machine and that is the size that you're needing. Just know that no machine is ever going to have a magnetic hoop that is the largest size hoop that that machine can read, because the hoop takes up a little bit more space, and so the largest area it can stitch is going to be a little smaller than the biggest hoop that that machine can use. For example, like on the 10 needle, it's a 7x14. It can't do an
It can't do the
It
right.
can't do the 8-inch. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Trying to be clear as mud.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a really fun way to expand and make easier hooping for your embroidery machine. Now, there is another magnetic thing we have. It's not a hoop, but I wanted to bring it to your attention. These are Filtech magnetic core bobbins. And it comes with how many in a box?
100.
That's a lot of bobbins. So it's a really good deal. And they come and they have this little central core. And then I don't know if they do, some kind of starch or something that.
Yeah, they've got something that holds it.
It's there's not plastic or cardboard or anything like that out here. It's just the bobbin. I love these pre-wound bobbins. And then you have your bobbin case. This is an L size bobbin.
So these are for free arm machines.
But if you look at this side, do you see the black right here?
Mhm.
That's the magnet.
Okay.
And if you're not sure which side you're supposed to use, the black part goes to the inside. I'm going to put it in wrong on purpose, okay?
Okay.
If I use just the blue plastic side and I put it in there, it just falls back out.
Yeah.
You can't really do this one wrong. If you do the magnet side, it will be the right direction. And of course, the right direction for this is that it's going to spin clockwise. Here's the end of my thread. But I put that in there, pop it in there. It's spinning clockwise.
And it won't fall out.
It won't fall out. So that when you go back to put it in the machine and
You
it
don't have
goes
to worry
in and
about it
snaps, and you don't have
falling
to
out.
worry about it falling out
Yeah.
because it's magnetized in there.
Love that.
Isn't that great?
Magnets in the sewing world. Who would have thought?
And I've had people ask me questions like, is it okay for there to be a magnet on my machine? Because they worry about if it's going to mess with the
computer.
computer or anything. I can assure you that there's nothing about any of these magnets that they didn't already test to make sure it was safe to use on the machine.
Right.
The other thing that's great is when you're buying Baby Lock branded magnetic hoops,
Yes.
your machine knows how to read those
Yes, absolutely.
because it is a branded hoop. Now, you may have a hoop that you could use on a machine that came out prior to these hoops coming out, and they create updates for these magnetic hoops.
Right.
That you may have to put an update on your machine in order for it to know how to read that hoop is on there.
For example, the Verve was a retired model, that BLM VR, before this hoop was created. And so you would just update that Verve so that it can read the hoop.
Right. And an update is free, and you can just download that from the Baby Lock website.
Yes.
It's not an upgrade.
Right.
Upgrades are what you would pay for, but retired models don't get upgrades. They get updates, so they can use newer items. There is a limit to how far back it will go. If it's a really old machine, sometimes like 20, 25 years old, they're probably not going to make an update for it to be able to read that.
But like the Destiny, they've been putting the updates for these magnetic hoops on
and we
those,
can help you out
like
if you need a new machine. We've got those too.
Well, that's true.
Or we have pre-owned machines that, you know, they might be a newer version than what you've been using, and that might be a really great option for you, and you can use magnetic hoops with those. So
there you go.
We have options for you.
There you go.
Okay, so moving right along, I want to talk to you about some events that we have coming up. I know I've talked about them before, but it doesn't hurt to talk about them again.
Okay.
And let me do this in date order. Okay. Oh, I should have put this all together.
You should have done that ahead of time.
This I should have. Okay. Stitch Trip is going to be the date order thing here.
Okay.
This is going on in Oklahoma City, May 30th and 31st from 9 to 4 at the OESD Event Center. That's at Broadway Extension and 122nd. We're going to make these fun projects. We're going to be sewing on the amazing Radiance. If you are an Emerald Plus member, you can get a discount of 30% off on the event fee. We would love to have you join us. That event is getting super full, so if you think that's something you want to do, don't hesitate. Sign up at bsewn.com today. We also have coming up the AccuQuilt class, and this one is going on at multiple locations. It is going on at Humble, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, Fayetteville, and Springfield, and you can see the according dates right here. If you are not an Emerald Plus member, the price point is $59. If you are an Emerald Plus member, it's 30% off at $41. 2 different sessions. Morning session is the intro to AccuQuilt. The afternoon session is all about the cubes. So we would love to have you join us. 9 to noon for the morning, 2 to 5 for the afternoon. You can go out and have a fun lunch on your own and come back and join us. Barbara Harper will be here, and you will love learning all about the amazing AccuQuilt system. We also have Project Sew Summer Camp coming up. I know most of you that are probably watching this video right now are not the age group for this. This is ages 9 to 16, but you know a lot of littles in your life. For $2.99, they're going to get to have 5 days of sewing, morning or afternoon session, and they get a sewing kit. They get all the fabrics to make 3 projects, and they go home with an amazing Baby Lock Zest sewing machine. Help those little ones have that fun life skill of sewing. And then we also have the Artful Embroidery event. It's a 2-day hands-on event. It is going on at the Tulsa location. We've already had these 2 events, but it's going on in Tulsa, June 27th and 28th. And we will be doing the cowboy boot instead of the heart at that one. If you go to our website at bsewn.com, you can find out all about all of these events and sign up for that. Grab a friend, grab your neighbor, get your mom or your daughter, and go to an event. I promise you're going to have a great time. And we have deals at events that you don't get anywhere else but at an event. Now, we always do a giveaway, but I want to talk about the discounts first. Can we talk about the discounts first?
Sure.
Okay. The discounts that we have on magnetic hoops is going to be 20% off this week.
Okay.
That's a really great deal. So if you've been hemming and hawing about whether or not I want to get a magnetic hoop, now's the time to do it while they're 20% off. And then let's talk about OESD. We got all these magnetic hoops that we want to do quilting on. OESD has a whole lot of designs that are quilting in the hoop designs via embroidery. So it looks like you did a long arm, and you didn't. You did it all with embroidery. We're going to do 30% off OESD quilting designs this week.
Okay.
So come in the store and find some of those fun design packs for you so that you can make beautiful designs on your quilt, make it look like you slaved over a long arm all day, and really all you did was push the green start button. But let's do a giveaway.
Okay.
What do you say we give this away?
I think in honor of the warming weather, we have to.
And this one is, what's the title of this one?
Garden quilting.
Garden quilting, that's right. Because, you know, quilts are for all seasons. You'll find me, if I'm at home, I'm under a blanket on my couch. I should have a garden quilt on there, right?
There you go.
So we are going to have one lucky winner get that one, because if you will like, share, or comment by Thursday at 5 p.m. One lucky person is going to get to go home with this wonderful design pack. If you want to find some more of them, 30% off, come into the store. Magnetic Hoops, 20% off. Don't forget to sign up for our fun events. It has been, as usual, an absolute blast getting to talk to you today from New It To at BSON. We look forward to having fun with you again next Tuesday. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.